What's up, Ramblers? Your favorite CEO is back. And before we begin today's podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode. And follow Assistance HQ and Offsource HQ across all platforms to stay up to date on the latest content, updates, and more. And remember, if you need a virtual assistant, visit us at offsource.tech. Now, before we begin, a word from our sponsor. What's going on, Ramblers? Welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Ramblings. I'm your host, Angelo Roberts, and I'm back. I don't have a co-host guest with us today. We don't have anyone to introduce. It's literally just me today. I haven't done a podcast again in a little bit of time, so you know what that means. We have a hiatus recap. That means. So what's been going on since I've been doing the podcast? Since I have last done an episode. I think the last episode that we left off with was Edwin's episode, this Happiness is a Skill, which, by the way, if you haven't had a chance to go check that out, that's a wonderful episode to go check out. I highly recommend going to check it out. And not just because it's like my podcast either. Like, it's a genuinely good episode, and it's running out pretty well. So in the meantime and in between time, what has been going on is we have had an amazing time doing this new website. The new website is coming out phenomenally. It should be done within the next couple of days. And so that means we'll be starting to run our campaigns. We'll be talking about that just a little bit later. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but me and my co-founder have since dearly departed and split ways. Thank God for vesting agreements. What else? Not much has been going on. We are at double digits in clients. I don't know if I brought that out before. We passed that maybe a month or two ago. We made $380 today. When we closed, not necessarily closed. We were able to secure a client doing a reoccurring. So they signed on again. And so we made $380 today. Not a lot of money, but I'm doing a much better job at just being comfortable with sharing our numbers, sharing our figures, being more transparent. And I really do enjoy it. So you can follow me on Twitter at Assistance HQ. You'll see me doing the hashtag build in public. It's really just a hashtag that people use, or small business owners and entrepreneurs use, to, I don't want to say showcase, but really tell the story, if you will, of how a company got to be to where it's at, So for example, I can't remember his name right now, but the CEO of Copy AI, right? They do a build in public journey. And so they're transparent about their numbers, transparent about how much money they made this year, what's their year to date numbers, what like their month numbers are, their quarter numbers, like how many users they have, are they up, are they down, their churn, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm really doing a much better job at being comfortable showing and showcasing my numbers out in the public. I mean, if I go an IPO, it'll be like that anyway. So might as well get used to it now. But yes. Oh, we started using Typeform. This is not a shout out or thing of Typeform, but if you are a small business owners and you need to do surveys, Typeform might be where you want to go. So what I did was I made a referral sign up. So we now have a brand new referral sign up program, which I'm actually pretty excited about. And the sign up process for it is now using a Typeform survey, and it's pretty easy and everything. It's absolutely free. Typeform is not free. The survey is free for you guys to complete. But yeah, it's really a new direction that we're going into, especially with how the new website's going to be coming along. And speaking of how the website's coming along, it should be, like I said, it should be done in about 3 days, which means that we're going to be running our very first marketing campaign. Now, for those of you that follow me on LinkedIn, you'll know that I put out a piece of content that said, hey, if you are looking for a copy of this marketing strategy that I have made, I templated it out. Essentially, you just have to go in, download the sheet, and fill in what your information would be. But it's essentially breaks down everything that you need. It goes through like your target audience, the type of content that you need. It's a place where you can even put like content assets. So the pictures and videos that you're going to be using, we either have I have a schedule up there. I have templates for, like SEO strategy, template for, social media strategy, for articles, blogs, because we're going to be trying some PR. And so this is the very, very first marketing campaign that we're, officially running. Like, I've created marketing campaigns before, but this is a very first, well thought out, all the way pushed through and planned marketing like strategy that I put together and templated and made available for the world. And so I'm pretty excited. I don't know what to expect on the results. I've never been on the results end of the actual like marketing strategy. So like I just know sometimes, the phone rings, that kind of stuff. So the goal is to increase inbound calls, obviously for sales and lead generation purposes, because it's a lead gen campaign. But that's not really what I'm, worried about. What I'm really, worried or I guess thinking about is what is it like when I run a social media ad, what then what happens? Like, do people actually lead? Do actually people sign up? So doing a lot of research in that area. Speaking of research, I've been doing some research on crypto, blockchain, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all that kind of good stuff. Really trying to do and expand my portfolio a lot more. At night, I haven't been as active in terms of my learning. I've been watching like these YouTube videos and everything, but I'm trying to do a much better job at getting back at just being active in terms of like my learning, progressing, and doing things like that. Which brings me to why I said I started blogging earlier. So for those of you that follow me on LinkedIn, you'll know that I've posted articles before. There's only like 4 articles up there. I haven't posted a lot of articles, but it's more fun than I thought, and it has a much larger effect, right? Like writing blogs is the perfect practice for writing copy. Like copy is what they call like the text around for ads and everything. And so writing like blogs and getting good at blogging is really like a different kind of skill because it allows for you to then be good at, writing copy. And if you can write your own copy, that's very good. I've utilized this tool called Facebook Library. You guys can go check it out. It's basically Facebook allows you to see any company ads that are currently running. Not about past. I don't know if it does past, but you can see current ads that are running from companies such as your competition. So what I did was I not only went on the website and broke down, some of my not my competition, but my future competition. I broke down their websites to see where I could create a marketing strategy. What would be the pain points for someone signing up and getting on board. So that's something that you guys can actually do yourselves, right? Go look at a larger company, a much larger company than you, someone who's, website that you like and everything, and dissect it, right? Go and take maybe 2 or 3 websites that are like competitors, and they don't have to necessarily be immediate competitors. So for example, if you build websites, right, you're not trying to compete with like HubSpot or anything like that. But look at how HubSpot's website's laid out. Look at their marketing. Look at what kind of ads they're running on Facebook. You can use Google search, right? See what kind of keywords they're searching for, and then create a marketing strategy, not based on it, but around it. So secret sauce I'm giving out here, because guys know I love giving out some secret sauce to you guys to bring value. What I did for this marketing strategy or part of the marketing strategy is I took the websites of some of the top competitors, not necessarily my competitors, but in the future, they will be competitors because they do the exact same thing that we do. And so what I did was I broke down their websites to see where there was a lacking or where there would be pain points as a business owner. Now, there's a precursor to this that I should let you guys know. I'm in networking groups. And a big reason on why I like to be in networking groups are, 1, they're full of entrepreneurs, small business owners, and professionals. 2, those being like our core audience, I'm able to be in the dirt. I'm in the weeds with these people. I'm in the trenches, essentially, of the business to understand what their aversion is to certain things. Why don't they like this A versus B? Why do they want someone to be in the office versus not be in the office? It's not like I'm running a survey and I'm asking people, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? No, I'm having legitimate conversations with people that are potentially clients, with people that are of our client audience, if you will. They may not necessarily need us, but they are with our client audience. And so where are these people spending their time? What are they doing? What are they thinking? What are their pain points? And so when you get to really be in the weeds or in the trenches, if you will, of this B2B kind of sales, because essentially what we do is we sell, business services to business owners. So it's kind of, a very weird B2B kind of strategy, if you will. However, being with the owners, being in the weeds, as I would say, it gives you a different insight, right? You're able to talk with them. You're able to hear what their problems are. You're able to hear, you're able to see what their problems are sometimes. So for example, I'm in a networking meeting and people are in networking meetings in the car. Literally, they are saying they are driving to wherever they're driving to, but they're in the networking meeting on the car or doing their walk. What does that tell me? People are now getting very much used to doing business in their own environment. And the reason I'm not going to say their house and their own environment is because at the beginning of the pandemic, everyone was expected to be in tip-top shape for every single Zoom meeting, dressed down to the T, no kids, no dogs and everything. And as we've gone through the pandemic, that's kind of eased up because we can see the effects of people's lives. Like we can literally see, or feel, oh snap, and have a much better understanding because we ourselves are going through it too at any point in level. If you have 3 meetings back to back to back, that doesn't change if you're a CEO or, a low level person. If you have back to back meetings and you have kids, something is going to go wrong or something's going to happen. And so people have now more understanding for that. And so people are becoming more comfortable in their environment. When they're having meetings, they're doing a whole lot of other things that they probably would not have done before. And so what that says is when you're having these meetings or when you're talking with these business owners and you're in the weeds, as I'm saying, it really gives you the insight of, okay, what are these business owners' problems? Transportation, still to this day. Oh, I'm on, like people are starting to go back to the office. Oh, I'm on my way back to the office. I'm out on the Zoom, so I want to make sure that at least getting my networking in because that's how a lot of these people are getting their clients. Like think of it like that, right? For a lot of other small business owners, this is something you would only know probably being in the weeds. I'm sure you could find it a different way, but it's a great sight to see for your own eyes, to experience it, is most small business owners, or I wouldn't say most, a lot of small business owners are not running ads. They're not social media, savvy and things like that. So when you have, say, a room of 100 people that are at least 35 plus, because a lot of times I'm dealing with sometimes like 40-year-olds, 45-year-olds, parents, grandparents. And so you have to understand that, yeah, they could be a little bit tech savvy, but how tech savvy are they? And what do they really understand? So for example, a lot of small business owners are not, like I said, running ads, having a social media presence. That's something that's growing on them. A lot more people are, getting into social media, getting into LinkedIn, getting into having a social presence, website, all that kind of stuff. But they're not creating marketing strategies. They're not tracking any of their details in terms of marketing. They're kind of just going. And what does that mean? They're going on word of mouth. A lot of business owners are generating business from word of mouth, from networking, from being in the trenches with other business owners and what they do. Almost like internet version of door-to-door sales or internet version of cold calling, if you will. You're going in, meeting a bunch of people, and you're trying to make referrals, connections to, drum up business. But a survey is not necessarily going to tell you that. And if it does tell you that, you have to know to ask. Being in the weeds, you see things that you don't necessarily have to ask for. You don't have to pontificate the question, let alone the answer, So if you are trying to find out, what do business owners need? Is that even the question that you should be asking? Is the question you should be asking, what do business owners need? Well, if you were in the weeds, if you were in the networking meetings, if you were talking with your client base, wherever they might be. Now, it doesn't have to be networking meetings. It could be, sport games. It could be Discord. It could be, entertainment areas. It could be the club. But wherever your particular client base is, you need to be and you need to study and be part of that kind of group. And so that's a big reason on why I stay in networking meetings, why I'm hoping that this campaign works out. I was like, yeah, that's what we have. That's what we have going on over here in terms of like what we're doing in networking. And that's like my little two piece of advice, my little tidbit for the day. Speaking of tidbits, Reddit, blogging. I've been getting in a lot more into blogging, a lot more into Redditing, as I mentioned earlier, because if I think it's really conducive to like practicing for, writing your copy, like for marketing, which is how we got into that entire conversation. Back to Reddit and practicing for making copy. Yesterday, I was writing a Reddit. Your Reddit doesn't use an autosave feature, so beware, guys, because this could happen to you. So I was writing a really, really, really good Reddit post, and I think that this was like an A+ Reddit post. And I use Grammarly to make sure that my grammar is good, because English is not a strong suit for me. But using Reddit, I was making a post, and as I was getting ready to copy and paste this post, because I want to, use this particular blog post across other platforms, I can rework it for, different kinds of media and things like that. I'm thinking to myself, let's copy and paste it so I can put it somewhere else. As I go to copy and paste it, the tab stops responding. Not like my entire computer freezes, just that one tab. When it's like, oh, this tab is not responding. Would you like to wait for it or, kill the page? So I was waiting for it. I was like, I'll wait for it to respond. I'm not trying. I just spent like hours writing this blog post, not like hours directly, but, over the course of the day, I've spent, a couple of hours trying to write that blog post at different periods in time. And so I was like trying to save it. And so what ended up happening was I wasn't able to save it. Had to rewrite the blog post. I was super angry, and it didn't come out as well the second time. So if you guys are thinking about doing any blogging on Reddit, make sure you use another platform to write the blog post and then copy and paste it into Reddit. I'm actually starting to do like a chain of events, not a chain of events, but like a day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, like a progressive blog post of a daily update with what's going on in terms of business, which is actually what I'm going to be doing next. After I finish up the podcast, I'm going to be actually going to do a Reddit. If you guys are on Reddit, go check me out. Go follow me. Assistance HQ. I'm ready to do that everywhere. I'm Assistance HQ across the board, I think, basically at this point. I'm going to try, and I want to start lining up more podcast guests. That's a really another thing I want to do. Podcast guests. Like I said, last time we had a podcast guest up here, it was Edwin, and that was an amazing podcast episode. But I really want to start now leveling up, right? So we've had some big name people, and the podcast didn't do the best right there. But I think it's because I haven't been doing as much promotion. So I'm going to be going back to doing promotions, getting things done, and moving in terms of like the power of one. With everything that's been going on in terms of the marketing and all this content stuff that I have to do and come up with, it's overwhelming, if you will. Now, it's not overwhelming in the sense of it being like too difficult. It's overwhelming in the sense of it's like, oh, I have so much to do. Where do I even start? Right? Because I'm trying to create and follow a process of like, I have a big piece of content, I create micro content from it, and then I create even more micro content from that. But I always just end up creating big pieces of content, whether it be a blog post or an article, the podcast, or doing a live. And so I'm doing the big pieces of content, but the smaller little pieces of content is where I get inundated with. And it's just like, how do I do all of this? And so I actually have decided to come up with a small schedule where in the morning, like my entire mornings, like almost probably till like 2:00 is what I'm thinking of. Is all going to be about either, if I'm not in a networking meeting or doing like a meeting, I'm going to be doing something along the lines of content, whether it be editing, posting, scheduling, something with content. Like spend my entire morning and some of the afternoon doing content. And then as soon as I finish doing content, moving into just like client work, if I have client work to do. But everything is going to be content, and marketing. Marketing and content is going to be what I spend my mornings and afternoons doing. And so if you hear how that grows, this is where you heard it first. And so I've liked some of the gems that I've dropped today. I definitely think that that is a good one. Oh, the Facebook library is definitely a big one for you guys. If you guys don't know, go check out to see what ads other people are running on Facebook. You can check out your competition, what other people, just for fun, but you have to do your research. And so I really am understanding and seeing the importance of having things written down, documenting, having your strategy not just in your head, but on paper so you can see and really analyze what it is that you need, what it is that you're trying to do, what's going to go where, really getting organized. And I think that's a big thing that I'm really trying to do right now is I'm really refocusing on getting organized and staying organized. Because it's one thing to always hear me say, I'm getting organized, I'm trying to get organized, I'm trying to get organized. But once you get organized, you have to stay organized. And so that's what I'm really trying to work on, staying organized, being able to say, okay, this is the process that I have, and this is what I'm going to follow. Like no slacks, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So tonight I will be making sure I am in bed at 8:30 so I can be asleep around 9:30, and I will be up at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Why? Because I just need to make sure I'm in routine. Oh, another helpful tip for you guys, because I'm trying to bring value. So if you're definitely looking for value, you can listen to me ramble on for a hot second about staying consistent and keeping a schedule. There's an app called Kin. I think it's called Kin. 100% sure that it's called Kin, right? And it's essentially a social accountability app. You set habits, then every time you knock off a habit, you check that you did the habit today. Like, hey, this habit was done. You can share and have accountability partners, because the social aspect is you have friends on it. You can invite like your contacts and everything. So my mom's my accountability partner. But what happens is you're able to communicate, talk with them, and really check in on your accountability buddy and see, hey, what is going on? Are you staying consistent? Why aren't you staying consistent? Let's be supportive. I'm here to help. How can I help you stay consistent? Hey, let's work out together. Let's hop on the phone and work out, get a good workout going. Me and my friends, we do virtual. I don't want to say virtual like dates or anything, because that's kind of weird. But we as guys, we just kind of we have like little virtual hangout sessions. We play the game, we'll chat, we'll talk, we talk business. Me and my friend Juan were talking this morning. We always have great conversations, pontificate about the future, what it would be like to have a boat so big it has another boat on it, things like that, regular like 20, 23, 24-year-old stuff. But that's what's really been going on. I'm going to be doing another podcast later tonight because I have to catch up. I'm going to be backdating some of these episodes. This is going to be the episode that I backdate, right? So it's going to be the day after Edwin's podcast, but just know that I'm starting it on June 4th, but I have to do podcasts up to June 4th. So I'll be doing a couple more podcasts tonight, trying to drop as much more information as I can, just to make sure that you guys get the value, I guess. Like, I just am trying to bring as much value. And another reason, there's more. Me doing more rambling episodes and a lot more recording is the content of this, right? So like I said, I'm going to be spending my mornings doing content. I want to get the micro content for my podcast, like all of these great ideas, all of these little snippets in my head. I want to create real life like content around it. So like Canva is evolving. They're great. Absolutely love it. I think Canva should start coming for Adobe. Like, they're two completely different platforms, but I think Canva can start coming for Adobe. Like, if they added a whole lot more like in editing, like if they integrated an editing suite, like a serious editing suite, like not this templates drag drop thing that they have right now. Like if Canva seriously like steps up and says we're going to integrate like a serious editing, like I would be all for Canva Pro having like an editor mode, right? So it's like you can have like the regular simple Canva, but this is a more powerful version of Canva that is like really honing in on editing. Or I don't know if they're worth right now, but that would have been a great move for Adobe to buy. If Adobe had bought Canva, that would have been a great move. But yeah, so like I said, I want to start creating content or micro content, if you will, around like these bigger pieces, around the thought pieces that I have, just so that my face can be out there. I just want to start getting things generated. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, guys. I know I did, and I'll see you next time. Hey, Ramblers, that's it. Podcast is over. Don't leave yet, though. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, and follow us on YouTube at OffSource HQ. We'll see you next time.